Okay. Greetings, everyone. I want to thank you, first of all, for taking the time and giving your energy to this meeting. I understand that many of you are going through a really, really tough time. And even as someone who didn't lose much, and I didn't lose my house, I still feel the impact of what's happened to our town, right? And, on that note, I would just like to take a moment of silence and just, you know, take a moment of silence for those who have experienced loss and are going through the grief process. I also want to give my heartfelt condolences to anyone who did lose anything, everything. I've been hearing a lot of stories over the past couple of weeks, and it's gut wrenching. And I personally haven't really been back up to Altadena yet, so I have intentionally not been looking at all the disaster footage. And it's not because I want to ignore it. It's because of what I was mentioning before we started, is that those of us that can be clear-minded and level-headed and can take action, for those, not to say that the people who are traumatized can't, it's that we want to give them space to not have to, which is again why I'm having this meeting, because I've talked to so many people that can't even think straight. I It would be wrong of me to expect them to take part in this, right? So I'm looking for people that can, and since I can, I'm doing my part as much as I possibly can, right? So before we get started, I'll just give you a short version of my story and why I'm compelled to do this for Altadena. My name is Jeffrey Lopez, and I'm a local business owner. My organization is called the Sound Investors, and our focus is helping people and organizations grow. We host workshops to teach people leadership, team building, sales, and marketing. We also provide marketing and consulting for small businesses. I have a background in finance as a marketing director with over a decade of teaching people how money works and how to build generational wealth. I've also been working with Agape International Spiritual Center on the media team as a camera operator for 8 years and as an assistant director for 4 years. And I'll be honest with you, I love being on the creative side. At the same time, after having studied leadership for so long, I realized that that's my real interest and that's what I can really provide in this scenario. I know how to do the tech stuff. At the same time, I see this as a really, really big opportunity to give the people of Altadena who are creators, who can help in this way, not just an opportunity to do it, but to get paid doing it from the beginning. And I'll be honest, I'm not a huge company. I'm just a small business from Altadena. At the same time, I understand the situation that most of you are in. And I also understand that money is an important part of this aspect, or an important part of the equation. It might not be the most important part. It is an important part. And that's why I'm offering to pay at the beginning. And we'll talk more, about the pay structure and all that stuff after. And on that note, I would just like to take some time for everyone to introduce themselves and give us a minute of your skill set and how you would like to help Altadena. So we'll just, you guys can do it in whatever order you want. You can raise your hands and then we'll just go in that order. All right, so Courage, go ahead.
Hey everyone, I hope you can hear me. I'm hunkering down in my house and there's no utilities and it's freezing and I'm not taking any risks with the air. I'll get kind of close just in case. My name is Courage. I've lived in Altadena for over 3.5 years, and I've been using every single waking moment to help and organize and provide resources to my community. I come with a background as an actor. I consider myself a filmmaker. I've made a lot of indie things. I definitely have a very great eye for um, for emotional movement, thematic movement, and visual media. But also, I'm a really strong writer, and I'm pretty darn good at social media. I can like churn out graphics like super quickly, which has really helped a lot with a lot of the things I've been involved with. So I've been in close collaboration with the people who are Build Back Vintage, who put out the petition and the proposal to give the power of rebuilding to Altadenians, and of course Altadena Not for Sale, which is kind of the protest wing that's kind of grown out of these movements. And so I've been trying to be as involved as possible. I'm kind of in a strange position where, again, kind of similar to Jeffrey, I haven't really lost anything other than, of course, complete like control of my life. Or any control of my life, and it's just been super chaotic for sure, and a lot of scary at many other times. But I'm in a position where I feel not only pushed, but I also feel like I'm in a perfect position to dedicate most of the time in my life to rebuilding, helping, empowering, giving voice to, and giving platform to not only the story of all Altadenians and people affected by the Eaton fire, but the collective story that we all have. And so when I saw this, I'm like, this is absolutely something that aligns with not only what I'm doing now, but what I did before the fire. So I would love to see how I might be able to help collaborate and empower other people's projects and efforts in this, because nothing is more powerful than storytelling. And when it comes to visual storytelling, that's not only something that I think can really continue for our story to have fuel and to not disappear into the darkness, because we're all going to be going through this for years who are staying around. But it's also going to be something that is going to be emotionally powerful, because visual media for me is like one of the most emotionally powerful things that you can wield if you know how to use it.
All right, thank you. I believe Kristen was next.
Hi, I might have to jump off early because we're also kind of looking at a place that we might be staying at. So I wanted to go early on to say, hi, I'm Kristen Addy. Um, I'm an actress and a photographer. I right now mostly do, aside from the acting, which is my first thing, I mostly do real estate photography. So I'm also a licensed drone pilot. I do portrait photography, and I've also done photography for events, which I really enjoy doing. I don't do that as much, but I enjoy doing it because I kind of like telling a story with pictures, which I think is kind of what part of this is about. And I'm sure all of us who are photographers or artists in some way can understand our art brains are on overdrive, driving through the neighborhood, wanting to capture everything, but it's a little too soon. I actually haven't gone to the neighborhood. I did lose my home. I lost my block. We have a couple of houses that are left on our block. I'm up on Grandeur above Altadena Drive. But I haven't gotten to take any pictures yet. I can't wrap my brain around it yet. But yeah, so I am always compelled to tell the stories. So when I saw this post, I thought it definitely would be something that I might be interested in doing. My husband is a contractor, and he's been he was laid off last week, which is unfortunate, but unfortunate timing. But he's very passionate about getting as many investors and all of his contacts together to rebuild Altadena the way it was. So that's kind of what our focus is right now, getting our house rebuilt, but also helping our neighbors figure that out.
All right, thank you, Kristen. And I spoke with your husband Tom yesterday. He's
Oh
got
yeah,
a lot of good ideas, and yeah, we're gonna share his story because he's doing a lot of good stuff.
yeah.
Next up is Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for your patience. I was driving. Um, I'm here. I'm on the Altadena Town Council. I'm vice chair. And since the beginning, my family lost everything. Since the beginning, we've just been focusing on getting Altadena in the forefront. And prior to the fire, I was forming a communication committee on the council that would hopefully fill the void that Jeffrey's speaking of. Both the void, just in general, I'm realizing, you know, communication for Altadenans being unincorporated. We don't have one media. We've got Pasadena media that kind of posts stuff about Altadena, mainly about the town council. And we were just facing kind of the void in general of communication. And we were on the cusp of fixing it to some degree because we were gathering up as much community run efforts like these to network and be able to kind of string our hand to get as much county information out there as possible. Unfortunately, most of that was incredible high school interns doing the work on my other laptop that was left at the house and destroyed. It wasn't put on the cloud. So we're kind of starting from scratch again, but they've reached out. They want to make it happen. So I'm here tonight to listen to see what y'all are doing. I've been following Courage, which, you know, things like Courage and Jeffries, and I'm sure others on the screen here are what are making things happen. You know, there's definitely that void there, but if it weren't for the community and your individual efforts, we wouldn't be reaching as many people. I'll close with one of the things I was doing as a pilot program. Courage is one of my constituents. In our census tract, I was identifying 12 different kind of sectors, and we were going to make neighborhood watch groups expanded out of each of them. So I would have 12 different people that I would reach out to in an emergency or monthly just to give them the information that we want to get to the rest. Because finally, I will say, I'm realizing, especially in West Altadena, who are historically neglected, it's hard to get buy-in in getting the communication to them, but it's easy when you know who their leaders are and who they listen to and who has the face and voice that they trust. And I would never expect them to trust me, but I would expect the leaders to recognize our efforts to get to them. So we were just beginning that. So fortunately for my census tract, I have about 7 of those in place. So we were getting some word out, not over by Courage. So I was lucky to have Courage doing kind of that work over there. That's it. I'm just really here listening. I have another meeting at 5:30, but I wanted to stick my nose here. Jeffrey, I'm so glad you're recording it because I want to see what y'all are doing. And I'll close with my biggest concern is when it comes to rebuild or this effort or anything, there's so many pockets of people that are starting up incredible stuff that it could either turn toward competition or it could turn toward incredible collaboration. So I'm here to try to increase that collaboration, try to keep, I'm putting my nose in every interview that's asked, every group that's meeting. So I am driving my family crazy by not being available to them, but my family is my community and they recognize it. So I'm here sort of listening and trying to figure out who I can connect this group with that's doing similar efforts so that we're all not spinning our wheels, but working as a collective. So I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. I believe Mike was next.
Hi, my name is Mike DeGrazzio, longtime Altadena resident, multi-generational too. Steve Segner of Steve's Pet Shop is my uncle. Carrie Myers and Ed Myers were the owners of Steve's Pet Shop that was lost in the fire. They also lost their home. We were spared. We lived down by the lower entrance to Eden Canyon, but we've been displaced while we deal with smoke remediation. I saw this pop up on Facebook, and Altadena is my home, my community. I've been here for a very long time, and so I wanted to lend my services, my skill set in any way that I can. I work professionally with International Cinematographers Guild Local 600 as a digital imaging technician, which is basically all things color, photography, cinematography, data management, pipeline from production to post-production, and final color. So I'm here to facilitate anyone's ideas in a technical way and just make pretty images. That's me in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. We'll definitely be needing your help. And I believe Hannah is next.
Yeah, I'm Hannah. I'm a first-year student at PCC majoring in graphic design. I have actually a lot of experience from MIR. I had like almost 400 service hours. I did photography, media, And yeah, so I have experience, I guess, and I'm eager to document the process of the rebuilding. That's it.
All right, Hannah. Well, it's good to have the young crowd also joining us because you're going to be part of the next wave of leadership, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I believe Jannett or Jannett.
Either or, I usually go by Jannett. Hi everyone, my name is Jannett. I have actually grown up and lived in Pasadena for 26 years. So Pasadena is something that I hold very close to my heart. I actually also worked for the city of Pasadena when I was in high school and college. And so I was very involved in the community before I moved on to the entertainment industry. So right now, professionally, I work as a producer and production coordinator. So I have a lot of experience putting together different shoots, different things that we have to do, whether it's photo shoot, pulling in crew, any permits or stuff that I have to go through in order for us to be able to film in different places. I also have a lot of experience working with Pasadena media from the past. So we did a lot of community aspects of, different videos for them and a lot of nonprofits and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to kind of just bring in my skill sets and any connections I have within the city to kind of just help push this forward. And I'm also connected with the Altadena Not for Sale organization. So hopefully it's something that we can kind of also collaborate and just, be able to push our voice forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jannett. I don't know if anyone else has everyone spoken. No, I think we have a few people left.
I joined
Priscilla?
late, but I joined late. I'm sorry, I forgot.
You're
about
fine.
me.
Jason, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jason. I've lived in Altadena for about 20 years. Moved in 2004 with my newborn son and wife. Lived in that same house. On terrace, it's completely gone. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I can offer outside. I mean, I'm an editor, so I can definitely, I'm a professional union editor, so I can definitely help in that regard. And whichever way we decide to use these resources. So that's what I have to offer.
All right, thank you, Jason. Let's see, who hasn't spoken yet? Priscilla. Who else? Julian.
I can go next.
Oh, please go ahead.
Hey everybody, sorry. We're at Kid Zone. This birthday party started around the same time, so getting all that sorted out. Yeah, born and raised Altadena. Our whole family, lived in Altadena. Aunts and cousins and everybody's property, was gone. Nothing survived. And I stayed north of of Christmas Tree Lane. And so I've been in the film industry for a long time, over probably 14, 15 years. In post-production, spent a lot of time in post-production. Also did some DP work, do a lot of editing work, photography. I've been editing a lot recently. And so, but yeah, just the whole post workflow, I'm very familiar with it. And love filming, that's my passion. My brother actually told me about this. He sent me a screenshot of the post. And so immediately I signed up and joined to see what this was all about. And so that's how I found my way here. I'm currently, I got laid off from my last job. It was a marketing company. So I'm looking for work. So I have time. And then on social media, still pushing the promoting Altadena Not for Sale, we will rebuild. I have a Instagram dedicated to that, and even started a website for that, just to pump information out there for everybody who lost everything, because it's in so many different places. And so just having it in a centralized place was my goal. So that's me and my story.
All right, thank you, Julian.
Mhm.
Is Priscilla available to speak?
Hey guys, I'm here. Yeah. I've been spending a lot of time in Altadena. My mother-in-law lives there and she lost her home, so they're all staying in our place here. But I actually spend more time there than in my own home. So I currently work as a post-production engineer. I've been working in post-production in the technical side since COVID. Before I was a video editor, and I still work with that, but I'm mainly all things post-production. So from creative to technical. I do also have some video production experience working as a producer, but I'm really willing to take on anything that you guys need, and I'm skilled on that. So anything to help.
All right, thank you, Priscilla. And I believe that's everyone. If someone hasn't spoken, please let us know and we'll give you a chance. If not, we'll move on. And before we move on, I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, just with the people here on the call now, we have so much firepower. We can really put together so many things and be what Nick was talking about, which is a central, and what Julian was talking about, which is to be a centralized place that we can focus on to start building a media presence online. Because I'm not sure, I know there was somebody who is anyone here someone who works on a monetized YouTube channel? I thought someone had signed up for that. Nobody? Okay, does anyone here know about YouTube monetization before I move on? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, Julian does. Okay, so it's okay if you don't, that's fine. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help teach you about all that. So before we really get into it, I'm going to tell you what we're not here to do. What we're not here to do is exploit the people's tragedy to make money on it. And I say that to start because when it comes to media and coverage and documenting things, there's a big stigma about that. And people can see it as capitalistic or opportunistic, which is one of the biggest reasons why I'm not here to document the tragedy. I'm here to document the authenticity of Altadena, which is the community and the stories and the businesses. Because over the last 2.5 weeks, I've seen so many things that if it was showed online to people, they would fall in love with the town. Except all we've had lately is coverage of the disaster. And on top of that, like I was mentioning before we started, is I've been watching YouTube every day for the past 2.5 weeks and not one single media outlet from Altadena. What that means is that everybody that came and documented something about Altadena and put it online has been making money on Altadena, and Altadena hasn't seen a penny. So my goal with this is to basically redirect all of that money that companies with deep pockets are already paying for ads and start moving it towards Altadena. And one way is through YouTube monetization. It's not the only way we'll do it. It's the way I'm presenting because it's what I've been studying the most. It doesn't mean that we won't use other social media. It's just that YouTube, when it comes to generating a passive income, is the best bet. And through the other social media, we can start funneling people to the YouTube channel. So basically, anytime somebody watches something about Altadena, they think about Authentic Altadena and they learn about our town. And the best part about all of this for me is that through this idea, no one has to go out of pocket. You can literally, once the YouTube channel is monetized, people can donate to Altadena just by watching TV and learning about the town and learning about how to rebuild a town after a fire, because that's why I want to document all of the town meetings and everything that has to do with officials speaking of how this is going to work. Because one of the biggest reasons people don't want to rebuild or feel like they can is because they don't have enough info. So if we as a team really start documenting all of this and putting it together, we can basically build a step-by-step guide for anyone that this might happen to later, and it's free for them, and we make money, and they don't have to pay. What we're doing is redirecting all of this money that's already getting moved to certain places. We're just going to redirect it to Altadena. Because like I mentioned, I'm a business dude. I've been studying business for over 10 years, and I love it because once I understood that true, authentic business helps the people, I started learning how to do that. And that's what I'm here to help everyone else do. Because I'll just, before I rant and ramble a lot. So I'm going to read the script that I wrote so I don't miss some of the points. So to be clear, our mission is to create a media outlet with passive income for Altadena and paid opportunities for local creatives to do what they love. The faster we can get this channel monetized, the faster everyone's pay increases and the faster Altadena has money to rebuild. A key point here is that the money generated will not have to come directly from the community's pocket. It will come from the deep pockets of companies already paying for ads on social media. If that doesn't make sense to any of you, please let me know now. And if you have any questions or concerns, let me know now before I move on, because this is key here. Anybody? All right. So I'm going to share with you the vision, the purpose, the leadership, and the culture that I've come up with so far for Authentic Altadena. And I'll be honest with you all, I don't have much time, which is why I've only come up with this so far in the past 2 weeks. And I hope it's enough for you to catch what I'm really trying to get across here. So the vision is that I see an Altadena full of entrepreneurs who have built a strong microeconomy for the community, and the people know how to leverage their skills. We have a town with many people who are well-versed in local government because we've participated so much in the recovery of Altadena. The purpose is to build a strong media presence for Altadena by Altadena. By using the power of technology, we can essentially start generating a steady monthly income for Altadena through ad revenue and other ways of making money with YouTube monetization. When it comes to leadership, it's about less manipulation and more inspiration. This isn't about having power over others. It's about empowering others. This is how we're going to get the community to come together and go beyond the ego. And like I mentioned earlier, leadership is what I'm most interested in, and it's what I really bring to the table. I've been studying human behavior for over 20 years. I've learned how to have conversations. I've learned how to, like Nick mentioned earlier, I know how to spot leaders. I know how to talk to the people who already have an audience so I can compress time frames. And instead of having to talk to people one by one, this meeting being a perfect example, I realized that there's no way I could reach out to people one by one because that'll take forever. So I figured, why not just have everyone on a meeting, and then everyone can introduce themselves, and now we all have a short virtual bio that we can start sharing with people. We can also start introducing you to the rest of Altadena, right? Because that's how this channel is going to be effective and how it's going to help the people. Like I mentioned, I've studied human behavior for a long time and marketing. And what I've learned is that from a psychological perspective, the more people see your face, the more willing they are to work with you. So once we get your face out there and people start seeing you more and more, they're going to start to trust you. And the way we build trust is by doing small things that build trust, right? So if we say we're going to document Altadena for the people, then we're going to do that. We're going to put it online for them, and it's going to be free, and it's going to be valuable information that will actually help them in their lives, right? Because while entertainment is cool and people can go viral and get all that stuff, one thing I've really come to learn about using social media for business is that it's not about the numbers as far as follows, likes, and subscribers. It's about conversion and long-term strategies, right? This isn't a quick money-making scheme. At the moment, I have a 3-year plan. And the basic, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so I was on leadership. That's like I mentioned, I ramble sometimes. And I'll finish with the culture, and then we can open it up to people's feedback. So the culture that I'm looking to build is actually just a reinforcement of the culture that Altadena already has, which is a really strong, tight-knit community where people like genuinely care about each other. You know, like I mentioned that I've been to a bunch of town meetings. There's people that lost everything that still found the energy to bring others together and build up their spirits and remind them that we as a community can get this done. It's just going to take a lot of communication and a lot of teamwork, right? And as Authentic Altadena, I believe we could be the people that demonstrate that, right? If we come together as a team and start generating very valuable content for the city of Altadena, just imagine what that could be like in the next 3 to 5 years, right? When anybody in Altadena wants to learn something about Altadena, we'll be somewhere on their radar. And the reason why I bring this up is because if you've noticed, or how many people here spent more time on social media than on mainstream media getting their information over the past 2 weeks? Right? We were all in the Facebook groups. We weren't even looking at the other places. So imagine if people could go to Authentic Altadena either on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram and just get the info they need as soon as possible. And it's not that Authentic Altadena will be the only place to go. It's just that, like Nick mentioned earlier, if we have too many splinters and not enough unification, we're not going to build enough energy to meet the energy of big media. So what I propose is having all of the outlets or everybody that's gathering media to filter it to us. We put it out there. And once the channel is monetized and we have a big enough audience, we can start promoting all of the people that sent us footage and start building their audience through us. Does that make sense? Have I lost anyone yet? Okay. So that's really all I have at the moment. I can ramble on and on about this stuff because I love talking about building and growing. I will open up the floor though to anybody who has any ideas, any comments, any concerns.
Hi guys, Mike. I'm just
Yeah, go
curious.
ahead.
So where do you want to start? Like, what's the first step?
So now that I know that we have photographers and people that know how to use social media, I think, because like I mentioned, I was focused on YouTube. So YouTube will be where we funnel everything. But if people can help us build the Facebook page, even if it just starts with pictures, because pictures are quick, we don't have to do filming and editing and all that, right? We can also start with writing. And I think at least a couple of people on here are writers. So my idea was to use the Authentic Altadena Facebook to start with writing and pictures, to start building the following there. And while we build a following there, I'm going to be conducting interviews and recording as many town hall meetings as possible. And whoever's available to help with the video editing, we'll basically be prepping all the YouTube content while we build the audience on Facebook with writing and pictures. If anybody wants to the thing is, I don't want to do too many platforms at once because it makes it harder. I prefer Facebook and Instagram to start because first, Facebook is where we all met. So obviously all of us use Facebook. And the one way that this will work is, since we're already all on Facebook, if we all as a collective bump the Altadena Facebook posts, we're going to start generating that algorithm energy. And once that's strong enough, and we have all of the content ready for the YouTube channel, then we just start making a post schedule to start releasing that stuff. And then we start promoting it on the Authentic Altadena YouTube page.
So you want to start with town hall meetings as the like our primary media export, or do you want to do a couple of different projects simultaneously?
It really depends on who's available. because the only thing I'm available on a regular basis is to do Zoom interviews with people and to go and get footage maybe like once or twice a week at a town hall meeting. So if people are willing to go and get footage, even if it's just with your phone and just to get some B-roll, right? We can start getting all that. But I think as far as less overhead and less time, we get the writers writing and the photographers taking good pictures, and we just start building the Authentic Altadena Facebook with that. Like because here's another thing is I've been saving all of the cool stories I've been reading on the Altadena Facebook page, so we could always do like little and I don't know the technical terms for this, but like if one of our writers or one of our people that likes to tell stories, just turn your phone on, record, and read someone's story from Facebook, because that way we can promote their story and the person who's reading it. Does that make sense?
That's so. I kind of like that idea. Again, I come from a place of facilitation, so I need an idea, or I need to be told what to do.
Yeah.
So, but I like the idea of reading other people's stories and then maybe intercutting images that support or promote the underlying emotional crux of that story. And so that could be in and of itself a project that I can begin working on. I'll need to see the story that you would like someone to narrate, and then I can begin coming up with images or shooting those images so that then one of our editors can begin putting that together.
Okay. And that's actually one thing I'd like to do before we finish is just see who can work together on like what you just mentioned. See if we can get a couple of people or 3 or 4 of us to start working on that. Because like I mentioned, I'm not able to pay everyone for the project at once, so we'll be working in stages. However, I do want to make sure that everybody gets in on this and has the opportunity to contribute. Because once the YouTube channel is monetized, from what I understand, every video has all of the analytics. So whoever works on a certain video, whatever money it makes is going to be paid out to the people. So like that's why I want to monetize as soon as possible, so we can all start generating income from that and actually get paid properly. Because some of you have really impressive resumes and you might have to take a bit of a pay cut here, you know, but at the same time, I don't want to be asking for volunteer work. I want to be able to pay something for everybody's time, because I understand it's valuable and your skills are worth money, right? So I'll stop rambling there for a second. Who had their hand up first? Courage or Priscilla? I think Hannah did actually. So Hannah, go ahead.
Wait, no, never mind. It's okay.
Priscilla, go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, so I guess I have a question. I'm not originally from the US, but I'll say this. I've been extremely involved with community initiatives, mostly in my city where I lived before moving to the US. But I also have been professionally involved here and there with the community efforts around Los Angeles. Now, I've personally never seen a huge commotion on local news and channels. So I wonder if you have any successful example in the US, like of a similar business model that kind of focused on like a very micro region, right? This is very local, that has been successful. Like, do you have a channel or a link to any social media profile that you could share with us so we can visualize your idea?
That's a really good question. And I'll start looking for channels that are specifically for local media. From what I've learned, because I'll give you a little bit more context on this. So I've been studying what's called the one-person business model for about 3 years. And it's about basically using AI to help you do all of the automated stuff, and you can build a business big. So what I want to do is apply this to Altadena, because what I've learned from these people who do this is that they've done a lot of research on what kind of media makes the most money, and it's been proven that education has the most long-term income generation potential. Because I'll just use a really simple example. If I film myself changing the air filter on my car, that will always be relevant for that car, right? So if we can, like I mentioned earlier, if we can start creating a step-by-step guide on how people can bring their community together after a disaster, that's something very valuable. And if we market that properly, it will catch on very quickly. And at the same time, we will be adding some entertainment value to this, because we will be, it's not going to be so formal in the sense that, we want to make it authentic, right? So everyone's going to be sharing stories. And I don't want to make it sound so cheesy, but just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking is, if we can get the people of Altadena interested in Altadena, psychologically, people will start to get interested in Altadena, because they see our interest in it. And the more interest we have in it, like, let's just say there's 10,000 people in Altadena. We get them to buy in to watching Authentic Altadena on a regular basis. People are creatures of habit. Once we can help them get into the habit of being interested in their city, it's going to catch on, because people are going to start to realize that this could happen in my town anytime, and I might need this information. And if people in Altadena actually watch the channel, the community is going to come together even without having to be physically together. Like Mike, I would have never met you if we didn't have this meeting. But if I see you around town next time, I'm saying, yo, Mike, I saw you at the meeting the other day, right? Or Hannah, oh, weren't you filming at the town hall meeting the other day? Or Jason, oh, I saw you were in the credits of that cool video that you guys made for Steve's Pets, or for Everest, or for the Bunny Museum, right? Like, our main focus is to create interest in Altadena, because if we can do that, everyone's gonna gravitate towards it. Because if we give them things that are valuable and actually help them improve their lives, when it comes to branding, what's going to happen is the name Authentic Altadena is going to have a narrative associated with, oh, every time I go to that channel, I feel better and my life gets better. Why? Because they taught me how to rebuild my house. They taught me how to attend a town hall meeting and who to talk to. They taught me how to not deal with shady salespeople, right? Because one thing I really want to teach is sales, and how people use tactics so you can spot a professional from an amateur, right? There's so many things of value that we can provide and I can come up with ideas every day. This is just where I am so far, and knowing that there's this much interest and so many people passionate about genuinely helping Altadena, I don't see how this could fail. And I'll stop there, because I see Courage had his hand up, and I know he's had his hand up for a while.
No, it's all good. I'm actually too, like, I'm challenging myself with, like, trying to wrangle together all the thoughts that have been going through my head during this. And also, please let me know if I'm hard to understand. I'm having a hard time here with lighting and everything, and the sun went down. But anyways, I kind of touched on it when I first spoke, but I don't want people to forget Altadena. I don't want people to forget, with the kind of news cycle that we have. One thing that upset me was the idea that, next week, our dictator will do something stupid, and then, like, he'll be, just the center of attention, and everyone will forget there was ever even fires in, in LA, and all the stuff that we're going to continue to be going through for years to come. So I don't want people to forget about what happened here, but also, more importantly, what is happening here, because we have so many people, like you said, who have lost everything, who are doing incredible things to unite their community and just organize us, but also create, because we are a community of artists, creators, generationally owned homes, families that have long histories. The house I live in, while making the GoFundMe for this house for my landlord, I found out that it was a 3-generation home that was bought 65 years ago by a woman who fell in love with a man, and they bought a home for a small amount of money, and it's been in their family for generations. And so it's like there's so many stories here of not just what was before, of course, what we went through, because I feel like there's a lot too that could be exposed, and about like the kind of institutional things that I feel need to be brought to light that we've gone through or continue to go through as we go through our recovery process. But also just rebuilding, just showing people what it's like, the challenges, the inspirations, the stories, the emotion of people that are deciding to continue to move forward and find some way to do so, but also build a better Altadena. I was surprised when the Bunny Museum went down, and they said we're going to continue to collect and rebuild the museum. They've been collecting for 40 to 60 years, and so I find that so inspiring. So there's a lot of that. And the only thing I think I remembered is that, like, I thought about was that, since all of us are going through so much instability right now, myself included, and we have no idea, like, really what, my life has absolutely no structure, no routine, no predictability at all right now. And so it's going to be a challenge for a lot of us. And so I think it'll be also important for us to move forward, keeping in mind that we are all moving through challenging times. It's going to be unpredictable. And so if we can find some kind of way to move fluidly, and so that we can work with each other's kind of circumstances, because as much as I want to do this, and I've been doing a lot already with other things, I do want to make sure that there's some way that some kind of fail safe, or some kind of like planning that we put into everything, to where we understand that even though all of us are creators and we want to do this, we're all still trying to recover in our own ways.
Thank you for that. And you actually reminded me of a few ideas I had that I wanted to share with you all. So one of the ideas that I've been having for a while is about GoFundMe, because there's just so many out there, right? So what I was thinking is the best way to help people get their GoFundMe known is by having them share their story. We do a quick 5 to 10 minute interview. We have someone chop it up, make it look nice. We throw it up on YouTube. We put their GoFundMe link on there. And think about it. Like, let's say, I see somebody who I can relate to that has a GoFundMe, and I hear their story and I donate to them, right? It's very likely that I'm going to want to follow their story. So we'll do a follow-up story with them and see how they're doing, right? Like, just imagine how many people we can help just by helping them record their story and putting it out there. Same thing for the local businesses. And I mean, honestly, like, I want to do it for everyone in the town, because what I've been learning about the one-person business model is that you can monetize yourself, because, and I teach workshops, so I'll give you an idea of the perspective we use. So I like to use the word organization, because the first organization that we're in charge of is our body, right? It has departments. It has the arms, the legs, the nervous system, right? So the organization, I already forgot where I was going with this. I ramble a lot. So, yeah, I totally forgot where I was going with that. I was talking about the GoFundMes. Yeah, okay, I completely lost my train of thought on that. Does anybody else have anything they wanted to contribute? Jannett?
Yeah, so I love all the ideas, and I'm very curious to see if they're like a sort of like I don't want to say objective, because that sounds a little too tight-knit. I mean more like with the YouTube channel and all that, is there something that you want to focus on more primarily that would make the Authentic Altadena more unique? Or is it more so just providing a platform for every person who lived in Altadena and being able to kind of share their story, kind of, just stories about who they were how they can also receive help from GoFundMe's and then also share helpful resources and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I'm following correctly. Like, if the general purpose for this is to provide resources, record town hall meetings, but also provide a platform for fellow Altadenians.
It is, and I'm glad you brought that up because it touches on what I was thinking of in terms of that. And this is just what I've come up with so far. I was going to make playlists for different categories. So like I would make a local business playlist where we feature all the local businesses. And then we have a long-term or historical stories from people that have lived here for over 30 years. Right? It will be a central hub for all things Altadena.
Okay.
And as it grows, we're gonna have more ideas, right?
Right.
Ultimately, though, like it really is about the community and the conversations and just like the everyday goings on. Because again, I don't want to be cheesy about it, but it's basically like creating a reality TV show for Altadena, but not in a cheesy media way. It's like, look, this is who we really are, and this is how we came to be such a tight-knit community. It's documenting that and showing that side of it. And again, this is just the first idea. As we talk more and as I hear more from people with more experience, I'm sure we'll get things added on that will really make this something that can be just a cohesive project. Because I'll be honest with you, I've been working on the one-person business model, so I've been doing everything by myself. I know how to work on teams, I know how to build teams, but as far as production and things like this specific, I've only worked by myself. So that's why I reached out to everyone else, and why I said that a big aspect of the leadership here is not about somebody being the boss. It's about everybody being a leader in their own space. Because everyone here is the best at what they do, because we're all unique here and we all have our own individual skill sets. Right? And on that note, just to give you an idea of how this works and how I want to put it together, there's a formula in business that goes like this. So it's mindset plus skill set plus tool set equals asset. Right? So as soon as we all have the same mindset, and in this case, it would be the mindset of preserving Altadena, and we take the skill set of all of us put together and the tool set of all of us put together, we have the asset that is the media outlet for Altadena. Does that make sense?
No,
And
yeah,
if it
that makes
doesn't,
perfect sense.
okay. And again, it's open to questions. I'm still hashing all this out, and I'm not trying to be the only person that talks here. I'm just a person who facilitated this, and I am not here to talk about I know everything, because I don't know everything. I just know what I know, and I know what I don't know, and that's where I need help. And it sounds like a lot of you have a lot of experience in what I don't know. So I think we can do a lot of really good things here. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Me or
Courage.
someone else? Okay, sorry. One last thing I was going to bring up too is that, I have a big, long experience as an activist much of my life. And so I see a lot of not only just the human beauty, but just to be realistic, I see a lot of the challenges of human nature within organizing, but also just the power that we can wield as a community to create change, get over disaster, recover from disaster, and just really find voice in what we believe in, our values, our shared values. And so it's been really incredible to see so many movements emerge and birth out of this disaster, from the Altadena Build Back Vintage, Altadena Not for Sale, and now Authentic Altadena. I was part of a Altadena filmmakers group, which I was also going to bring in too. We have a whole entire Altadena filmmakers group that was growing, that started last year. So we have a whole just pool of people who have skill sets that we can create bigger, better, more content that has emotional heart. But also these movements I mentioned earlier is that I really feel like putting a light, shining a spotlight too on all of the work that they're doing, all of the incredible envisioning they're doing to not only empower Altadena as like people who have stories and platform, but people who want to chart their own destiny, people who want to say we are our own town with our own distinct identity and our own distinct vision for our own futures, and we want to be able to say this is who we are going to be and this is who we refuse to become. That's not us. And so I really would love too to see us kind of bring a lot of attention to that side of the recovery process, which is our own political empowering, our self-empowering. And because those movements I feel are not only crucial with what they're trying to do, but giving them more platform, more voice, more attention is also going to do nothing but help our community more in the end.
I'm glad you bring that up because it helps me think of a few different aspects we can work on at the same time. Like courage, it sounds like you're already connected with a lot of the movements that are going on. So in your case, if you could just put me in contact with those people, I can set up a meeting just like this where we all talk and see how we can start working together and see what people are already doing and how we can help support each other in what's already going on. Right. So that's something that you could help with. And I know Mike, he just texted me, they lost power at his hotel. So hopefully everything's all right with Mike. He said that, you know, he could help with the sharing the stories that we've been collecting. So to respect everyone's time, we've gone just over an hour. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over this meeting, take notes, and basically put together a rough draft of who does what and what is available as the first project. And then we can figure out who's available, what times, because I'd like to get so at the moment, what I have, or I'll say this, by Friday, I'm going to have this video recording and 4 interviews that are ready for editing. So that's going to be one project that's open at the moment. If we have any video editors that are available, let me know. The other project will be, I'm going to start gathering all of the stories that I've been saving and, you know, put them together and throw them through ChatGPT and see what I can get from them as far as ideas on how to market them. Because I'll tell you all right now that I am a fan of AI, not because I would see it as a replacement for people, is that I see it as a supplement to help us have more time to create and spend less time doing robot work, basically. Right? So that's it for the moment. If anybody has anything that they want to share before we get off, I really again want to say I appreciate everyone's time. I know you're all busy taking care of what needs to be taken care of for this, so I really do appreciate your time. Anybody have anything before we wrap up? All right.
Oh, I have a quick question. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Is there any way that we can all link up through social media, maybe IG or something, and connect? You know, I don't have everybody's information, or are you able to send out, you know, or
Well,
link up together?
Okay, so that's something that I'll put in the follow-up email is
Okay.
what people prefer, because all of us use different things, right? I use everything. I use Discord, Instagram, Messenger, whatever, because I have to keep up with people. But does anyone have anything that they want to offer? I think WhatsApp is the best for group chats because it's centralized and there's not a lot of other stuff. Unless someone is opposed to it, we can start with the WhatsApp chat and then go from there.
Now you're saying what's up or what's app?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there's another app called WhatsApp.
There probably is at this point.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, unless someone has um, a concern about using WhatsApp, we can start there. And I would say I can get back to you all by Wednesday because I have a full-time job and a family, so the time is tight at the moment. I do want to keep on top of this though, so if anybody has ideas or if you have the time to just start working on something, let me know because time is of the essence and we've all worked in media, so we know that staying on top of it is important. And like Courage said, there's so many other things going on that people will get distracted and forget about Altadena quickly. So that's another big focus of why I want to put out so much content is because it's the only way we're going to stay on the algorithm radar for people is if we keep putting content out and keep that energy strong. So, oh, go ahead.
What I could also suggest too is for you to create like a Google Doc, and so that all the ideas that we shared, all the ones that kind of pop in our head, we can kind of add on to it and then have all those ideas in front of us for us to see in our own time or whatever. And so we have the WhatsApp thing to communicate about what's going on, and then we have the Google Doc to kind of get all our ideas in one place on paper.
That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna use a Google Doc instead of sending an email, and then because we can just update that all the time.
Yep.
Okay, so a shared Google Doc, and then what's up for daily communication. Okay. Alrighty. Other than that, everyone, many blessings to you all. We will talk soon, and thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care.